Torq Resources is our copper gold Chilean focused company. It's a sister company to some other companies you might be familiar with, Fury Gold Mines, Orin Resources, Copernico Resources, Tier 1 Silver. But Torq in particular is focused on Chile, focused on large bulk tonnage gold copper projects in three of the storied belts of Chile, in the Maricunga, in the El Indio belt, and in the coastal Cordillera. So we have three projects, the Santa Cecilia project, the Margarita project, and the Andrea project. And we're really excited to be out exploring in Chile. It's a fantastic jurisdiction. What drew us to Chile in particular, and why we have really dedicated this whole entire company's fate to Chile, is because it's a place where big deposits that move the needle for major mining companies, and that's really our exit strategy as well. And it's important that investors understand what we're trying to accomplish, and that is to find a major mining deposit and then transact that ultimately to a major mining company. I got into the resource space when I was 18 years old to sort of pay my way through university. And so I would work in the summers in mining exploration, doing literally as a laborer, and I fell in love with it. And that was with the storied Hunter Dickinson group at the time. And how that ties into the Torq story now is that back then we used to chase these large bulk tonnage gold copper projects. We focused mostly on North America initially, then we were down in Mexico, subsequently in Tibet and Alaska. And we always coveted going to Chile. For the last 30 years I've wanted to go there. So we're finally coming full circle. This may be one of the last companies I ever do, and I'm really happy maybe to go out on a high note here in Chile. Well, I think what's exciting for investors this year for Torq is that we've spent the last several years assembling this opportunity, and now it's fully assembled. We made all the acquisitions over the last year and a half. We spent about a year and a half prior to that identifying the acquisitions we wanted to make. Then we made them, and now we're in the community engagement, permitting, and in particular our Margarita project. And very excitingly, we made a new discovery here recently in that IOCG project. Very high grade, big width. So we're actually just have commenced our follow-up drill program for that discovery. So investors can look forward to a lot of drilling and a lot of activity, a lot of results, and I think we're going to get a lot of attention, particularly with that new discovery. It is indeed, yes. And the market, as we all know, has been quite soft for a while. So we're not getting a lot of excitement in the generalist world presently because people are distracted with all the other nonsense going on in the world. But certainly from the major mining companies and the other corporate people that are just myopic on mining, we're certainly getting a great deal of attention presently, and the rest will come. Well, I think the one fundamental problem junior mining companies have, and it's sort of a self-fulfilling problem, is they end up over-promising. And in a world right now where with all the complexities of permitting and ESG and that sort of thing, we need to really set investors' expectations for timing better. I think that's one thing that everyone in our space could improve on. There's always this pressure to tell people when something's going to happen, but when you don't control that thing, you're almost destined to be wrong. So I think it's about helping educating people about the process for getting into a region, establishing yourself as a good corporate citizen, getting the environmental baseline work going, and then you can go out and try and do the treasure hunting that creates the quantum value returns that people would like to see. Well, actually, I still think that's the same one that it's always been, and people, they get too emotionally attached to this stuff, and they have to pay close attention to junior mining. Things change very quickly, and things have become a lot more multidisciplined and multifaceted. There's more banana peels, if you will, that people can slip on. So I think having a perspective, a good understanding of actually how this business runs, I think that's the biggest miss for the retail investors. So then they make decisions without having all the right information, and they can either sell something too early or too late. Either way is destructive to capital. It has to be disciplined. To remember why you bought something, and don't forget that. And if that thing isn't happening, get out. Or if it is happening, you can go in harder. So really it's a matter of checking your greed. That's an awful emotion, I think, that takes over. All of a sudden you start thinking the sky's the limit, and you have to be realistic and you have to be disciplined. Yeah, I think, even with all the stuff going on in the world right now, our space is destined to improve. It has been doing poorly for so long now. And the fundamental value's here, at least in the companies that know how to capture that value and monetize it. And our group's been very successful at that over the years. So I think in the next year, some of these companies that are woefully undervalued, I would suggest ours, and Torq in particular, is one of them, I mean, our share price is the same as it was before we made a major new discovery. So the value proposition is obvious if you believe in that space, that discovery, in copper in particular. And I don't think there's very many reasons not to believe in copper right now. I'm a big copper bull. I like gold, but I'm more of a copper bull in terms of what the price appreciation that we're going to see over the coming years. And I think we're going to benefit nicely from that, as will the whole space. Ultimately, it comes down to metal prices.